from Penn State with a degree in horticulture, and she began working for the Pennsylvania Department of Ag before colony collapse disorder began. She started to gain lab inspection and research experience, and then ended up becoming the Pennsylvania State Bee Inspector. So she's going to be talking to you about what being a bee inspector is and what they can do for you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Okay. Okay, as Hannah said, I work at the Department of Agriculture, and most of you know pretty much what we do, but in case you don't, the function of the Department of Ag is to encourage, protect, and promote agriculture in Pennsylvania. In our lab, we're in the entomology lab, and the main people that I work with are up here. They do a lot of other things. I handle bees, and they do everything else. Whoops. Oh, dear. Okay. So my main goal is to protect your bees and to protect beekeepers. And that may sound kind of hokey and like I'm just saying that, but that's very true. They see me coming down there and they know, oh gosh, here she is. She has some, thing about beekeepers or bees again. And that's what I really try and do. And the attitude down there has really changed a lot, favoring beekeepers, not just from me, but from working with a lot of you. My main job, I have to follow the bee law, and the bee law deals with the health and management of, or the health of managed honeybees. We do that one way by registering honeybee colonies that people manage in Pennsylvania. There have been a number of people who are saying, why should we bother? Why do we need to register our bees? It's just the government being nosy. And I can understand you saying that. I'm not 100% in favor of the government all the time either. However, when you register your bees, if there is a disease outbreak, we are able to help you. If there is an invasive pest that ends up landing in your backyard, we will try our best to help you. If I don't know you're there or inspectors don't know you're there, I can't help you. When we go to the legislators and say we have almost 6,000 registered beekeepers, that sounds a whole lot more impressive because that's 6,000 voters and their families as opposed to we have 1,000 beekeepers. What's going to have a bigger impact? So you got to look at the bigger picture. There's a lot of benefits. If you want to sell queens or nucleus colonies in Pennsylvania, we will come out and inspect them, and if everything's healthy, we issue a permit that's good for a year. Right now, there's no charge for that. If you want to send bees out of state, we will come in and inspect those, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. If somebody wants to bring bees into Pennsylvania, the other state apiarists will send me a certificate of health, and then we'll issue an import permit. Probably the most important thing that we do to help beekeepers is our inspection program. And this shows a map of Pennsylvania, and it also shows our inspectors that we had last year, and hopefully all of them are coming back this year. Bonnie Hall is the inspector in this area, and she's been here for over 20 years, so I imagine a lot of you do know her. She will be here this afternoon. Ken Hoover is back over that way, waving. Oh, Bonnie is back there. Good. These are two of the hardest working people that I have ever had the pleasure of meeting, and they will go the extra mile for you. So if the more you can help them, the more they can help you. And I also have the pleasure of introducing Shanda King. And Shanda, stand up. She is the new state apiarist in West Virginia. So we're happy that she's here today with us. One of the things that is occupying a lot of my time and will be, and is occupying a lot of the time of some other people on the Apiary Advisory Board we're working on revising the Pennsylvania bee law. I'm not going to go over all of this because there's a whole lot of stuff that I want to cover, but it's important to remember, your voice counts. If there's things that you feel strongly about, send me an email. I may not get back to you right away, but please, let me know what you're thinking. We want the B law to be a good law, and it's going to be probably incorporating more pollinators in with it. Also keep in mind what we send to the legislature may not be how it comes out. So we have to be kind of careful what we say and what we put in. Other projects, Steve talked a little bit about Driftwatch and Bee Check. So that'll be a new tool for beekeepers. The model ordinance he also mentioned, and we have the best management practices. There's some handouts out in the front lobby on a table that I brought in that you're welcome to take. We also do some other things. We do a native bee survey. There's over 400 species of native bees in Pennsylvania, which is a pretty nice number. And nobody is really hearing a lot of things about these native bees other than that they're declining. So we want to try and document some of that stuff. The national honeybee, some of you in this room have helped with that, and I thank you for that. That's going to keep going. We are also doing some surveying for invasive honeybee pests, and this is something that started with USDA that we've been working with them since 2015, and this is one way that we can be proactive to help beekeepers in Pennsylvania and beekeepers in the whole country. You may have heard that Asian giant hornet did turn up in the state of Washington, and the fellow that used to be my boss is actually the state entomologist out there now. So we kind of have an inside track on what's going on with that, and we're working really hard on that to make sure that we are handling it right and we're aware of things. So this native and non-native bee and wasp survey that we've been doing is going to continue. Driftwatch, Steve talked a little bit about this. It's interesting to go on their website and just kind of look at and see if you want to participate. It's completely free. There's no obligation. There's a little more information about it. There's the website, just driftwatch.org. They have something called Bee Check on it, and that's actually the one where you'll sign up on. They have a nice map, and pesticide applicators can go on there and find out if there are beehives or organic farms, that kind of thing. Okay, so 5,700 approximately registered beekeepers in Pennsylvania. This number has more than doubled since I've been working at the Department of Ag. 54,500 colonies approximately, 7,800 bee yards. So you can see with 7 inspectors, that's over 1,000 bee yards a person for a season that lasts from April till the end of October. And most beekeepers have 10 or fewer colonies. A new map. Ta-da, yay, finally. This is one from this year, and it hasn't really changed a whole lot. You can kind of see in your area here in western Pennsylvania, there's a number of bee yards right in a row. This has been a very hot topic, American foul brood, and Pittsburgh area has certainly had some struggles with it. Every year, it seems we have American foul brood somewhere in the state. Some years we have more than others. In 2018, we only had 6 cases, 6 colonies. This year, we had 36 samples that tested positive. But that was, as you can see, that was in 10 yards, and it was 6 beekeepers. And these beekeepers all acted responsibly, and which we're very grateful for. They notified Bonnie when they had questions. They thought something just didn't look right, and she came out and did the testing and everything. And it's you can see on here, those yellow circles are the locations. We also had one up further north, and that was Kent Castor's area. Crawford County, you can see the yellow is 2.5 mile radius and the blue is 5 mile radius. Pittsburgh, you can kind of see where you folks that have colonies inside the blue need to be kind of like on a slightly heightened alert. We'll phrase it that way. You don't have to be in a panic and burn your hives before you even start and start over completely or hide your hives. American foulbrood is part of beekeeping. It's not a pleasant part, but it's part of beekeeping. It's like when your newborn baby gets a cold or something. It's not pleasant, but you deal with it and you go on. So that's what we are working very hard to do. This is Washington County. So if you think you have American foulbrood, you need to call either me or your inspector, and we will try and come out and do an inspection as soon as possible. The inspector will take samples and do field tests, and we send the samples down to the USDA in Beltsville, Maryland, to their research center. When the results come back, you're notified of that. The inspector's notified about it, and treatment is discussed. These beekeepers that we were working with this summer, almost all of them burned their hives that same day. Sometimes we're not as sure that it's American foulbrood, but from the tests that were done and talking to the beekeepers, they did not want to take the chance of spreading it. And I commend them for that. That was very responsible behavior. We'll be talking more about American foulbrood at a breakout session this afternoon with Ken and Bonnie. So if somebody does have American foulbrood in their yard, the inspector will be back for at least 2 years to do double checks. And sometimes it's multiple times a year. It doesn't mean they just come one time a year and that's it. If there's a problem, an American foulbrood, they work with you very much and get things done. If you have bees within a 2.5 mile radius, we work very hard to get everybody contacted in that radius. We don't say, oh, Bob Beekeeper has American foulbrood, and he's right across the hill from you. We will say that there is a beekeeper in your area, your bee fly area, that has American foulbrood, and we'd like to check yours to make sure you don't, and we want to make sure that you know what you're looking for when you look in your hive. Okay, so it's very important for the beekeeper to know what is normal in their hive and what is not normal, and what might be a problem. The inspectors have gotten to the point where they are concerned. They don't want to ever miss a case, but it can happen. Sometimes there's only one, it has to start, and the symptoms can vary tremendously from the very beginning to the end. So that's why they want to make sure that you know exactly what you're looking at too. So most beekeepers, in the past it used to be that they would do antibiotics. The antibiotics will kill part of the disease-causing organisms of American foulbrood, but they don't kill the spores. The spores will be in the decayed larvae that are cemented to the bottom of the cell. You pull Grandpa's equipment out of the barn, and you're going to use his stuff because he was a beekeeper, and you're going to be a beekeeper, and you're using his stuff. And surprise, you have American foulbrood now because Grandpa's bees died from American foulbrood. So, all kinds of things can happen that way. The antibiotics do not kill those spores. Gamma radiation, some people will go that route, and other people will burn. That's what a lot of them did this time. And I'm going to hurry up a little bit. Anybody know what this is real quick? Yep, spotted lanternfly. They do go on beehives. They lay eggs on the hive equipment, and they hang out, as you can see. Okay, I'm gonna just try and play this real quick here. This is a video by Robin Underwood, and we'll hope it plays. It's a little unconventional. Used to.
So we might have to escape.
It's a real quick video.
Spotted lanternfly. Spotted lanternflies were introduced into Berks County, Pennsylvania in 2014 from Asia, established a population, and became a big pest. Scientists observed that spotted lanternfly adults emerge in late summer and live through the fall and love to feed on tree of heaven, a plant that also originated in Asia.
Oh no, the video stopped. Hold on.
Sorry, you can tell we're new at this part.
Can you guys see it okay in this format? Yeah. Okay.
Spotted lanternflies were introduced into Berks County, Pennsylvania in 2014 from Asia, established a population, and became a big pest. Scientists observed that spotted lanternfly adults emerge in late summer and live through the fall and love to feed on tree of heaven, a plant that also originated in Asia. Spotted lanternflies use their piercing, sucking mouthparts to get to the phloem of tree of heaven, which contains sugars, ilanthone, and lots of water. Ilanthone is a defensive chemical that helps the lanternflies become bitter and avoid being eaten by predators. They drink the phloem, removing the parts they need and discarding the rest in the form of honeydew. Honeydew rains down from the trees when lanternflies are feeding, covering the trunk and surrounding vegetation. Honeydew is a sugary, sweet liquid that is attractive to other insects with a sweet tooth, including butterflies, ants, fruit flies, bumblebees, and honeybees. Spotted lanternfly honeydew from Tree of Heaven happens to be available at the exact time of year when honeybees are struggling to put away winter stores of food. So honeydew is a welcome treat. In the fall of 2019, beekeepers in areas with lanternflies began reporting that their honey was darker than usual and had an unusual taste. The beekeepers that heard that pesticides were being used to control lanternflies and Tree of Heaven, they wondered whether their bees were being exposed to these pesticides too. They also wondered what was causing the honey to taste so unusual. So Penn State and the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture teamed up to help put together the pieces of the honeydew mystery. We collected honey samples from beekeepers within and outside of the spotted lanternfly areas. We are testing it for things that kill lanternflies, kill Tree of Heaven, and the bitter substance that is made by Tree of Heaven. We're working together to make sure the honey is safe for both humans and bees.
Okay, so what did you guys think of that? Robin wanted me to find out if you liked it or not. It's not a professional one, but okay, good. I will let her know. Thanks. Just real quick. Still, okay. Spotted lanternfly has been found in Allegheny County. There are two main sites. They were discovered in the fall. There'll be more information coming out on this within the next month or so, I believe. Spotted lanternfly is part of entomology, obviously, but I don't work they're not in the same room as me, so I don't hear all the things that are going on with it. But they are trying to get it controlled or stopped. I don't know that it's rampant here yet. I can tell you it is very unpleasant to have a major outbreak of spotted lanternfly around your beehives. The honeydew that comes down that she's referring to there, it's sticky, it's nasty. If you have Tree of Heaven near you, watch for that because that's their favorite tree. These are the counties right now that are quarantined. The new ones might come out in March. I don't know if Allegheny will be on there or not. But you can kind of watch for them, and there's papers out there on the tables that show you the different life cycles, stages, and what they look like. The egg masses, they will lay egg masses on anything outside. Rusty metal, they love. Old equipment, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just gonna, last thing, 2 big surveys will be coming out again in April. Please, please, please fill them out. You have absolutely no idea how important these things are for getting help for beekeepers and your bees. They pay attention if there's more numbers. We had the highest number of respondents was 674. Remember, we had almost 6,000 registered beekeepers. So if you can take a few minutes and do these, I try and send out a reminder email, but I get a lot of returns on the emails because I have bad email addresses. So if your bee club, is mentioning it to do it, please go ahead and do it. They're very important, and a lot of research is based directly on these and your input to it. Okay. So closing, we really are trying very hard to work with you and for you and to help you, and sometimes it seems like it's taking a long time and things are dragging. That's because there's me, and then I'm lucky enough to have 7 more in season, but it's there's just so many things going on, and we have so many concerns that we're trying to help with and help you. So I guess I'm out of time, but I'll be here, and I'll be at the workshop later if you have questions. Thank you.